You're not even seeing open interest at being at extreme levels yet. The degens haven't really. You know what? And I, I actually, for the first time ever, played around with a little leverage this morning. Got up early.
No! Oh my goodness!
That's how bullish
There's no
I
coming
am.
back from that, man.
Wait,
we're going through 100. We're going through 100, boys.
Graham, was this on chain? Did you do it on chain?
No.
Could we begin doing like a weekly check-in on your leverage trade and just like, how are we talking here? Are you like a 2x? Are you a 10x? Like, are you going to get wrecked before the next episode? Or
yes,
yeah, just baby steps.
What's the leverage?
2x. You could maybe
2x. That's not bad.
You know what? Maybe I got to join you, man. Maybe I got to join you.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh no.
Just a taste.
Welcome back to Token Narratives with Bitcoin.com, where we discuss the biggest stories shaping the Bitcoin and cryptoverse. I'm Graham Stone, repping the hype function at Bitcoin.com, and we also have news and research gigabrain, Mr. David Sensel. Welcome,
Smooth
sir.
brain.
Today, Smooth Brain, Gigabrain. Today, we are celebrating a new all-time high in Bitcoin. On the show today, we'll get into how we got here, what it means, and what's next. But we are also celebrating 25 episodes of this show, Token Narratives. And we've got $1,000 in prizes up for grabs for our loyal community. So keep an eye on our socials and jump into our Telegram to find out how you can get in on the action. All right, let's get this party started. Bitcoin all-time high.
I have to say, we also, at least some of us, are celebrating the, what's it called? The election in the U.S.
Yeah.
Wow, what a thing.
Let's get into it. So,
especially our producer, Trinity. I know she was ecstatic. It was
big Trump supporter.
Big Trump supporter.
Trinity, big Trump supporter. Let's get into it. So, let's start with the lead up to the election, because there are crypto elements to this. Of course, the polls were calling it a coin flip. It was 50-50, but the crypto degens knew better. Polymarket had the odds right. Kaishi, what's that, David? I don't know that one.
Yeah, that's an up and coming prediction market. We also feature it on Bitcoin.com news. So it's good to have competition, and may the best prediction market win, you know?
Yeah. And so the prediction markets got it right, obviously. I heard you made a bet there, David. I hope that worked out for you.
Yeah, I did.
I heard you were gonna be a contrarian and put some money on Kamala just because the odds.
No.
Okay.
I said no. Here, misremembering. I said if the odds go way out of favor towards Kamala. I've always been confused on how to say that. It doesn't matter anymore. But for Harris, I've been of the opinion that if she got really low, like 20%, 10%, on the lead up to the election, it would be worth hedging, right? Like, so for example, I'm long crypto up to my neck, and it would be a decent hedge at that price, right? For her winning. Yeah. So that was that. But I wanted to like dwell on this point of the prediction markets got it right, and the polls got it really, really wrong. All right, this is kind of one of the bigger narratives in the mainstream media. Again, it goes in with the whole, like, the mainstream media has really become an antiquated, useless cruft of purveying information, and so of course they were like vociferously defending polls and the scientific way that they are measuring sentiment in America, and part of that was attacking prediction markets as this kind of gambling, unseemly, illegal, unethical thing. How dare we get gambling into our politics? And again, they also highlighted over and over again the fact that Polymarket, for example, is a crypto-based prediction market. And look at that, it has Trump winning. I mean, it has a very strong percentage of Trump winning, right? 60+%, something around there at certain points. Oh, this is just like Republicans, Trump supporters, market manipulation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And the prediction market was right. And the polls were 100% wrong. Wrong. Right? It wasn't close. There weren't weeks of recounts and unknowns, It was a sweep. It was a landslide, a modern landslide.
So this is bullish for prediction markets. We're going to see them being more respected going forward as a source of truth, I think.
Could you pull up that Nate Silver thing? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, although I'd be surprised if we saw the level of volume that we saw on the election reached anytime soon.
I think it'll be the next election where you'll see it surpass this volume. That would be my prediction, because the only real unique use case for prediction markets is in elections, right? You can do betting on pretty much any other platforms for sports. Yeah. So this is a if everyone probably knows Nate Silver. He's kind of a famous pollster. And this is kind of now an infamous post on X, Twitter. And
November 5th, 32.8 million views.
Yeah. So here it is. I'm going to read it for you. It's published. We ran 80,000 simulations tonight. Harris won in 40,012. Wow. See how close it is? What a coin toss. Graham. So close. 80,000 simulations. Wow. That sounds really scientific and meticulous. All that data.
Yeah. Well, the polls were off when Trump won first time around by 5 to 7 points, I believe. And the polls were off again in the last election. I mean, we could go into the shenanigans that went on there, but maybe we'll leave that for another podcast, or not necessarily a crypto podcast. But so you
need Corbin here for that.
One could have looked at those two data points and been like, well, okay, so the pollsters didn't know what they're doing by 7 points in both cases, so let's just apply that this time, and the result is what happened.
Well, apparently so after 2016, where they were so completely wrong and like blindsided by this, in 2020 they started adding these factors to try to make up for the fact of the so-called shy Trump voter, right? So they would get their results, and then they would skew it towards Trump by some percentage point. They're like, there's a shy Trump voter, so we're obviously not getting to this person, so we're just going to skew the whole thing by 2 points. Why they did it by 2 points, what was their rationale for that, or whatever it is, whatever point spread that they kind of gave to Trump, I have no idea. Obviously, it wasn't effective then. And apparently that continued in this election. They said that there was this cohort that they weren't getting visibility on. And then I think pretty much arbitrarily they were assigning it some value. And obviously that value was completely wrong again. So that doesn't work. There was a really good story, though, about, I think his name is it Theo? The French Polymarket bettor.
Oh, the whale.
The whale, yeah. So he was interviewed by, I can't remember what publication, but after the fact, they were saying like, "Oh, you were really right. You bet $30 million or whatever, $30 million through Polymarket. You must be doing pretty well now. Can you tell us any of the process you were going through?" And he said that basically he thought that the polls were wrong and the pollsters were wrong, and he thought that the polls should be using something called the neighbor poll. Have you heard of this? I think it's called neighbor poll.
You're right there, sir.
Yeah, my voice. So basically the idea is, instead of asking someone directly, who are you going to vote for? You ask people, who are your neighbors going to vote for?
Okay.
And this allows the shy voter who doesn't want to reveal their own preferences to then reveal their preferences by proxy.
Yeah.
And he did this. He actually hired a pollster in America to do this.
Oh, wow.
And the results were very pro-Trump.
Okay. So this is another check mark in the bucket of when you've got money on the line, you will do things in the right way in order to win that bet, right? You will only put money on the line when you know things are going to work out as you predict, right?
Exactly.
So another check mark for the crypto prediction markets being a good indicator of the actual sentiment. All right, so I think we should. Do you want to talk about PNUT here for a minute, or should we go on to first of all? What's next?
Yeah, we could talk about PNUT. Could you set that up? I need a cough here for a little bit.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on too much here with PNUT, but I keep seeing these memes. All right, we got peanuts. Apparently, there was a squirrel
go to the recap.
Yeah.
There's a recap thing.
There was a squirrel being lovingly taken care of by this nice young gentleman.
He's a Chad, by the way. He's jacked. He's very muscular. Yes, obviously goes to the gym a lot. Yeah.
And his name was Peanut.
It's got to be right wing, though, right? It's got to be a far right wing person for being a gym bro.
And he had a squirrel. Somehow the government found out about it and took his squirrel and killed it. I assume because it's not safe. It's a health hazard. It's a public health hazard.
That's state by state. So in Texas, for example, it's fine. Right? You can have tigers in Texas. So a squirrel, obviously, you can have.
New York.
This is democratic New York City, where they slaughter animals for health reasons without any consideration.
Well, you can't have squirrel population like overtaking the rat population, I guess, in New York. That's the concern. So this was leading up to the election. This was kind of a rallying cry, I would say, for the MAGA supporters, pointing to the Democrats like overstepping their bounds. And sure enough, a meme coin was launched. It subsequently pumped bigly, although today it seems to be retracing. It could be a buy opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's still
probably could come down another half.
Yeah, it looks like it would be on like a support resistance line, right? It looks like the classic.
Yeah, we could go down another 40 million market cap.
Of course.
And it could disappear entirely. But so anything else to say here on the Peanut the squirrel thing?
Oh, I thought some of the memes,
fun memes, were pretty good
here. Yeah. I thought some of the memes were hilarious. I honestly, this is just like a meme to me. I don't think it moved the needle in either direction in terms of the actual election. But it's to me, it's just another indication, though, that Democrats aren't funny anymore, right? And that Republicans somehow are funny, right? I'm old enough to remember when it was complete opposite. All growing up, Republicans had no sense of humor.
Corbin's in the house.
Sorry, guys, just getting a phone call. You do your thing.
So, all growing up, Graham, you can tell me if you had a similar feeling, but all growing up, the Republicans were the ones that were, not funny, and no matter how hard they tried, they were not funny. And Dems were hilarious.
Republicans, but right wingers were like, there's not a funny bone in sight on the conservative side, and things have changed, I believe. I think it has something to do with just the contrarianness of it. So back when we were young, being what today would be considered left wing, I guess, or liberal, was in vogue, and maybe now it's the other way around. And when you're in vogue, that you're funny.
I think it has to do with honestly, I think it has to do with kind of poking at taboos. And growing up, the taboo was like Christians, right? Republicans were most strongly associated with Christianity, and really going hard after Christianity and God and Jesus and stuff was it was the thing that you could not do, and that made it funny because you could cross that line and talk about this kind of stuff. And now it's the exact opposite, right? Like there is a religion on the left that just it cannot stand humor at the expense of certain idols, and that makes it all the funnier.
Yeah. All right, you with us?
Yeah, we talking
Corbin?
Squirrels here. What's the latest?
Yeah, we're just going over some of the election related memes.
Man, there were some of the PNUT memes that we just can't show because they would just rile up some Democrats so much, and I'm not going to even talk about them. But man, they were funny. They were so funny. Just because they crossed the line.
I think there's I'm hyped up about the world right now because it does feel like the Overton window has shifted so much that people can be funny again. Racism can be funny again. Squirrels are cute. War is bad. Growth is good. It's just like, oh yeah, this is like the way it could be. Maybe we're on trend to like a 90s era like comeback for, I don't know, the West. This could be it. This could lead to, I don't know, maybe Canada gets its act together and we don't just have like commie ass Justin Trudeau and like these lame liberals and NDPs, and maybe you actually get like some cool base like Maxime Bernier or something like that coming in and being like, you know what, maybe we just like close the borders. Maybe that's an option. That'd be fun. So I don't know. I get the vibe that we're on track to like come back. Bitcoin's happening. It's good.
Corbin, you didn't see the post from some Canadian, I don't know, official talking about how they should condemn Trump and talk about how it's the end of democracy. It's from an official.
Yeah,
from the government.
We're going to have to deport more than just immigrants. There's going to have to be a deporting of ultra liberal Canadians as well. That's the only way to solve Canada. Canada is going to be like Trump. Fortunately, Americans were already pretty normal. Like everyone's normal, but Canada's just had like years of just being so stupid, and just stupid on stupid, and then bureaucrat on bureaucrat, and like CBC is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They're like the government sponsored radio, and it's just like liberal indie pop rock and like lame liberal opinions and like This American Life, but it's not American. It's like This Canadian Lifestyle, like NPR crap podcast radio, and it's just
Canada's
it's terrible. It's terrible. Everything's terrible. Defund that crap. Get the liberals to just shut up. Put them in their place. Go live in Toronto in your little hipster, pot-smoking, disgusting, homeless-infested neighborhood, and just stay out of the way of like the working class people who are just trying to build a better life for their families.
All right. Amen. Let's talk about a little bit about what this election result and the current situation means for Bitcoin. and crypto. So I think we could break it down into 4 categories. We like a technical, regulatory, fiscal, monetary, and the macro situation.
Just
Let's talk
just
about
before we
regulatory
begin
first. Go ahead, David.
I just wanted to preface this with all that these 4 factors kind of really show that the trend has changed, right? The trend for crypto assets has changed in a big way. So the whole idea is that all of these go together and really reinforce each other. Trend has changed.
Okay. I think let's talk about the regulatory aspect first, because probably that's the one that has the biggest impact, is impacted in the biggest way from this election result. So obviously, Trump is the first pro-Bitcoin president. That's incredibly bullish right there. Okay. If he does any of the things he said he was going to do within a reasonable amount of time, that's going to be bullish for crypto. So first of all, Gary Gensler out. Okay, the SEC antagonism is going to end. I should note that it's not just Trump, right? We have, according to Stand With Crypto, 266 of the House representatives are now pro-crypto candidates, and 18, as opposed to 120 on the House of Representatives who are anti-crypto candidates. So we have a majority of pro-crypto candidates as defined by standwithcrypto.org, and then on the Senate side, 18 to 12. So
Also,
we've got a mandate here, it seems.
Yeah. Also, 0 new anti-crypto candidates were elected. 0.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren is still in position in office. I think we need to note that.
Yeah, she's
but her army has been decimated, shall we say? Okay, so
also, so on that SEC antagonism, some kind of like what's it called, low-hanging fruit, are all the enforcement actions and/or lawsuits pending from the SEC right now. Conceivably, those will be retracted or canceled, right? And that can be done quickly. So again, that'll be very positive as well. It'll also be from a narrative perspective. It'll get a lot of attention from the public. So again,
exactly. Okay. Shall we talk about the Bitcoin reserve, the proposed, the potential for a Bitcoin reserve? Of course, it was hinted at by Trump when he was at the Bitcoin conference about 6 months ago, I guess. So if that actually happens, it's going to be pretty big for Bitcoin, obviously. Probably you're going to have other countries front running that, and
definitely
establishing
I would
their
say
Bitcoin
definitely.
reserves.
I would say definitely. If
they haven't already started.
Yeah, if countries are aware that the U.S. is going to do this, as in once the U.S. decides to do this, so many other countries are going to do it, and they're going to try to front run it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the regulatory front?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, so one of the biggest ones that's not here is clarity. There's been a lack of clarity. I mean, Coinbase has complained about this, and lots of builders have complained about this over and over again. The SEC's way of doing enforcement actions and lawsuits is like the lamest, most underhanded way, where they're like, you are breaking the law and you're doing it, and you're not doing what you should be doing, and we're not going to tell you what that law is. We're not going to tell you what rules and exactly how you're breaking it. And so Coinbase and its rejoinders will be like, okay, how did we break it? Can you please tell us exactly how we broke it and how we need to change so that we can proceed? And they don't. It seems on purpose that they're trying to stymie this process. So the fact that we could get like clear rules of the road will be a huge benefit for crypto businesses to flourish in America.
Maybe to jump in on that, there's going to be a requirement to do this, because not only for the existing industry, but Trump has put his family name on World Liberty Financial, which is it's a project that launched, the sale went on just maybe a couple weeks ago, but it's you're unable to transfer the token right now, and they're holding on to it for, I believe, like 12 months. You can't actually transfer, so they're trying to also navigate the regulations of both doing a token sale, tied to the U.S., tied to the current president. These things are going to have clarity, both for the president and for his team and for everyone else. And the regulatory bodies are probably seeing, oh, well, we know this is like a crypto president, so we need to do this, or Trump's going to be up our ass, which he should be. So I would hope that actually creates a huge amount of pressure, that it speed runs making these necessary changes post inauguration, in order to like give Trump's team the clarity that they're not left in this, like, the next Russia gate, we're just going to talk about world liberty for the next 3 years and like nothing gets done. I get the feeling they're going to hammer through things. And now that they control the Senate, the House, they got everything. They're just like, why wouldn't they just be able to just make some changes and say, fix this, or you're gone?
Yep. Okay, so moving on to the fiscal monetary front, I think what we're seeing is a coordinated global easing. So let me just run through the list here. So the Fed just not that long ago, a few hours ago, half a day ago, cut the benchmark interest rate overnight by 25 basis points. That was priced in, I guess. That was as expected, but there was no surprise there. Okay. Now we have the ECB has already cut 25 this year. Canada 25, Hong Kong 50 plus 25, Saudi, UAE, Qatar all 25. Sweden has already cut 125 bips. New Zealand 50 and England 25. So we're having a coordinated easing regime here. It's quite a different environment than we've been in for the last 2 years.
And like I've written about, the easing also extends to what other countries are going to be comfortable doing in terms of fiscal stimulus as well, right? So we saw this with China, and I'm sure this will happen amongst other countries too. So that leads into the monetary easing, kind of allows fiscal stimulus to happen.
Yep. On the technical front, Bitcoin.
Hold on. One last thing. On the fiscal side, traditionally when you have an incoming president in the U.S., you get a lot of fiscal spending, more fiscal spending. This would have happened even with Harris, but Trump was even more accommodative, as they say. And basically, all this means is basically that Trump has kind of promised to increase spending, right, and reduce taxes. And traditionally, this boosts growth, helps employment, and all this kind of stuff. So he's going to be doing some fiscal stimulus, basically.
Okay, bullish. The next category is the technical front, and as we all have been experiencing for the last year, Bitcoin has been in this range, and now it has broken out of the range. And many people have noted that the longer you're in a range, a tight range like that, the bigger the breakout is when you do break out. And we broke out to the plus side, so this is going to run, I think.
Do you guys have any year-end predictions here? We're November 8th.
Yeah, I was just going to... Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to give my prediction first. I think by by the end of the year, we're going to be at 120K.
Damn.
Now, you may call me crazy, but if we just look back here, 4 years ago, we had the election around here. The price of Bitcoin was around $15,000. By the end of the year, it was $30,000. So double. Okay. Now, I think we're going to do a similar move here between now and the next year. Of course, you have to acknowledge that we're talking about bigger numbers now. There's more money needed to double the market cap of Bitcoin, and then of course we also don't have zero interest rates, and we're not like 4 years ago. People were getting their second round of stimulus checks around this time as well. So those factors aren't in our favor. Okay, but on the other side, we have the halving again. The first
ETF.
pro-Bitcoin president. Got the ETF. The macro conditions, the easing cycle has just started. All the stars are aligning. I think it's entirely reasonable for us to hit 120K before the end of the year.
What's that? That's a 2.5 trillion market cap.
Sounds about right.
I'm not ready for that level of bullish, to be honest. It's so distracting. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say no to that level. I mean, like, bring it. Sure, let's do it. But, man, it's very hard to focus when you're, like, constantly.
It's like 50 days. 50 days from now.
Yeah, so that's like $1,000 a day.
Yeah. You guys are all pre-rich. Congratulations.
Well, what is it? They gave the stats on most crypto participants, and most crypto participants do not have a lot of Bitcoin exposure, right? We
went too heavy in the memes, guys.
On beta.
What have we done?
Yeah. And ETH. There's a world of ETH bag holders.
Yeah. ETH finally had a little bit of an up correction, but yeah.
Let's talk about ETH for a minute.
Wait, hold on. I just want to talk about predictions. I don't have a strong feeling on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 100K. I don't know if we'd maintain it. In fact, I'm pretty sure we could hit 100K in the next 50 days, but I think we would touch it and then kind of wait. But I don't know. That's the best
psychological barrier of 100K is going to be big. You're saying?
Yeah, but I think we could get there in the short term. Yeah, 100K. Man, 120K, that would be amazing.
I guess I have some worries that maybe, and this is purely anecdotal, but I saw some tweets and some people saying like, well, if tariffs are coming in hard, then people are going to be buying up a ton of supplies before the tariffs come in to stockpile goods, or say, unproduced goods. You're bringing in ore or something like that. You're going to bring in a shit ton of ore. You're going to overspend before the tariffs come in, because that would probably make sense, right? You're going to get a better rate from your suppliers and stuff like that. And it could be that some of the businesses don't then, throw in the Christmas bonus. How does that impact spending at the end of the year, where people are maybe taking that, I got some extra money at the end of the year, maybe I'll take another Bitcoin bet. Why not? Now, maybe that's only a small fraction of people that are impacted by like some, say, supply chain, triggers or something like that. But that could maybe soften a post-year pump. So my prediction was actually much more conservative. I was like at 82, I think I shared in our group chat, but wow. And this was pre-Trump victory. I kind of figured it would be 82. That was like the even Kamala, I thought it would still hit an 82. So
do you still maintain that now?
I feel like I could go now. You could push me. I could get to 88 because I like that number. But that's about it. That's about all I could go, man. 88 feels about right to me.
Interesting. I mean, I think so. I was listening to some other analysts, and they made me more bullish than I already am. Basically, the what they were saying, which makes a lot of sense to me, is um, pricing in something like a presidential victory like this, and what it kind of does for crypto is going to take time, and especially for like more mainstream investors, it's not going to be priced in for like a week or two. And so the reactions that we've seen thus far are by purely crypto participants, basically.
Exactly.
And
This
so
party hasn't even got started.
it hasn't even gotten started. What you're seeing are freaks like you and me trying to front run people who are
Yeah,
going to price in what's about to come. And so
exactly.
it could
And
get
you're not even
weird.
seeing open interest at being at extreme levels yet. Like the degens haven't really, you know what? And I I actually, for the first time ever, played around with a little leverage this morning. Got up
Oh
early.
no! Oh my goodness!
That's how
There's
bullish
no
I
coming
am.
back from that, man.
We're
Wait,
going through 100. We're going through 100, boys. It's
Graham,
happening.
was this on chain? Did you do it on chain?
No.
Could
like,
could we begin doing like a weekly
beginner
check-in on
enough
your
with
leverage trade and just like, how are we talking here? Are you like a 2x? Are you a 10x? Like, are you going to get wrecked before the next episode? Or
Yes.
Yeah, just baby steps.
What's the
on
leverage?
2x.
2x? You could
Just
maybe
baby
2x. That's
steps
not
on
bad.
2x.
That's not
you
bad.
know what? Maybe I got to join you,
Come on.
man. Maybe I got to join you.
Yeah.
Oh god! Oh no!
Just a taste.
Oh no!
I got to say, there's one other element to my thesis for why we're going higher, and like why we're going to do something comparable to what happened last time between the election and the end of the year. And it's just that, like, this time around, people are more than ever less trusting of like the institutions and the TradFi, and Bitcoin will appeal to people as soon as it hits that. Like, stock markets are already at all-time highs, earnings are insane, like way overvalued everything. Everyone's going to look at that and they're going to be like, I think this thing's topping. Where else am I going to put my money? How about the non-government the controlled commodity, Bitcoin? And I think people are going to do that, and it's going to happen like during the Christmas holiday. People go home. People like me are going to be preaching the good word to their family, and we're going to see a bit of a mania.
Yeah, I mean, especially if we start to see, like, if Trump starts to deliver on any of these things in the next, like for example, Ross. If Ross gets out,
exactly.
that, I mean, it's like even stories like that to kind of penetrate the mainstream consciousness that crypto is not this like drug money thing, that it's legit, and just kind of just poking the consciousness of the mainstream people, like, hey, here's crypto. Hey, the president is on board. Hey, look, BlackRock is doing stuff.
Exactly. Got to say though, if Trump doesn't pardon Ross Ulbricht, the Dread pirate, the Silk Road guy, within a very short time after taking the office, that's going to be bearish.
Of course, that's not going to happen until January. So what am I talking about? This is all going to be like kind of pre-January.
We're talking 2025. We're going even higher, but I'm talking just between now and the end of the year.
Man,
anyway,
bullish. I don't like feeling this bullish. I was on the train ride to work today. I was listening to other podcasts, and they tend to be a little more level-headed. And every podcast I've listened to this week since the election has been like just mega bullish. And my natural reaction as the wet blanket for token narratives is to like pull back. I'm like, oh, I don't know, everyone's so bullish. But then you just look at like where we are in the market and what the price action has been for the past 8 months, and the fact that the market cap of crypto in general hasn't really done anything for a year. It just seems like the setup is there. right? Like
Yeah.
on balance, it you got to be bullish to this, even
Is
though
there anything
everyone.
that is there anything that could put a wrench in the a spanner in the works, as they say? What could
Yeah.
stop
So
this rally from happening?
one technical thing that I think could delay the rally, I don't think it would stop it, is a little wonkish, but if you pay to like attention to macroeconomics, um, there's been some worrying signs of the at the long end of the treasury curve, right? The 10-year specifically, it's higher than most people in macro want it, like are comfortable with it being, and that usually portends potentially negative things. So that was worrisome. I think I talked about that a little bit with you guys in the chat earlier this week. However, that has kind of been mollified, so that looks to be okay. And apparently, from some of the language coming out of the Fed, they are aware of this, and they're um, looking to kind of corral this potential problem by dealing with the short end of the curve. Again, all it would probably do is it would cause a sharp downturn, and then it would be like a V reversal. But that's basically the only thing I can really think of that would kind of slow down this party.
Yeah, I think there's that. What about inflation getting out of control? Is that basically what you're saying?
Me? No. What I'm saying is um, that would be like a loss of confidence of the
Okay.
Fed, right? The
Yeah.
Fed's ability to control at what rate the government borrows money, and then it would show that there's a loss of confidence of like financial institutions about where the price of bonds should be. That would spook the market on a kind of deeper level, because it would mean that the Fed isn't doing a good enough job to control interest rate policy, and it means that kind of, I would say, institutions are calling their bluff and saying, "Hey, you don't have control of this, and f you if you think the interest rate should be lower. We're saying it's higher. We're saying your bonds are worth less." And that would be bad.
Okay. Geopolitical risks, could that pop our bubble?
Well,
You mean like war
but it could even
and stuff?
pop it too,
Yeah.
right? Like if wars start ending before the administration changes, that could maybe signal a more prosperous, collaborative, higher GDP growth of like, well, we're going to have to work together. So how about we stop just spending money, dropping bombs on, random strangers, and just focus on doing some business together. The art of the deal.
Yep.
I would just say, Graham, the macro, because that was one of the four factors. It also looks really positive, right? Like moderate inflation, rise in inflation, which is like 2-3%. That is not bad for crypto potentially, because of people want to preserve their wealth. They don't want it. They don't want to save their money in dollars, like dollar debasement. So that's good for crypto. The economy is already really doing well, right? So growth is good at like 2-3%. Unemployment is multi-decade low. As you said earlier, easing financial conditions, and you're doing easing financial conditions into an already kind of healthy market. I'm going to borrow a phrase from someone on X that calls this rocket fuel. This could be rocket fuel for the economy. And I would agree. Yeah. Yeah. Bob E Unlimited. Shout out to him. He's awesome. Awesome macro guy. So the macro also is lining up like very, very well for Graham's 120K prediction.
His quote is basically the result of the election is that we're going to receive much more accommodative fiscal policy than was previously expected. So
Rocket fuel,
it.
baby.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about ETH for a minute? What does this mean for ETH? Because there was an argument going around that actually a Kamala win was bullish for ETH because ETH was the only asset that had an ETF, and you could get into it. They couldn't take that away, so a Kamala win was bullish ETH. On the other hand, you could make the argument now with just like crypto being not illegal anymore, I guess, or soon to be not illegal anymore, that TradFi in general will just be allocating to crypto, and the way a lot of institutions, the only way they can allocate is through an ETF, or certain institutions, certain market participants. And there's only two choices. One is Bitcoin and the other is ETH. So that's bullish ETH. Any other thoughts on the ETH trade as it relates to the election results?
I think like along with this, before I even give my thoughts, I think the two most important charts, I guess there's three charts. Obviously, you follow Bitcoin, but that's a given. Is going to be the ETH BTC chart. I'm going to stay glued to that, and the Sol ETH chart. Right. So those are the three charts that I'm really going to be paying attention to, and I think you have two questions here. How is ETH going to do relative to Bitcoin? And then how is ETH going to do relative to Sol? Right? As in, like, you have your Bitcoin bag, and then what are you going to favor? ETH over that? All right, second ETH or Sol?
Yeah, I think probably most crypto natives will favor Sol over ETH, but newcomers to the market.
Which one do you think is going to outperform? Do you think it's going to, because I would say, I think probably at this point, I think Sol is going to outperform ETH. I think in the long term. Now, I'm not going to talk about the short term yet, but in the long term, I would probably favor Sol over ETH for this cycle. I don't know your thoughts on that. That seems to me an easier call than what to do about ETH in the short to medium term.
Yeah. Also, in the very short term, I think ETH is due for a little love, a little bounce off the bottom.
I hope so. Me too.
It has done something here in the last few days.
So my answer about the what ETH is going to do, I think the ETH BTC chart might have bottomed, at least for the short term. And the biggest reason I would say for that is, if you look at the DeFi coins, the DeFi coins have been the biggest. I think that they've performed the best since the Trump election, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about your Lido, your Aave, your Uni.
Aave's up 30% in 7 days.
These are all like ETH, basically the like ETH stalwarts, right? And so I think
you could also call them the SEC coins.
Yeah. And so I think that, to me, indicates that maybe ETH will outperform Bitcoin here for a little while, but I don't expect that to continue for the long term. Although, I mean, if these DeFi coins, like next year, they get some kind of codified rules or whatever, clarity, ETH might get a little bit of that, a little tailwinds from that,
Yeah. So this guy's
I'll tell you this
arguing
much: I'm
that,
probably going to rotate some of my ETH bags. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, one step ahead of you there, buddy. Yeah.
You did it, hey? You closed your ETH position.
No. I think ETH will outperform Sol for a little while. This is what I was going to say. I think Graham was a little too early. So I think ETH
Yeah,
will
no, you're
outperform
right.
Bitcoin
Mhm.
and Sol. And then after ETH runs a little bit, I'm going to rotate
Yeah.
out of ETH probably into Sol.
Yeah, I shared this
Yeah, that's
this
a good
tweet
call.
with Graham from who's this by? Buys
Byzantine General.
Byzantine General. And he says,
Yeah.
I'm going to share possibly a
Yeah.
controversial opinion, but I think that this massive open interest buildup contains a F-word ton of shorts, and I think that ETH has a very real chance of going on a monster rally now. This might be a short squeeze that will be talked about for years.
Just noting that Corbin will say the F word when he's.
It's gotta feel like
not
it's in the
quoting
moment
someone else.
when I'm passionate, when I'm like in the vibe. But if I'm reading it, I can censor myself a little bit for the the kids that are watching this. We have a lot of children,
Yeah.
right? Plus, I don't know if like our kids are running around too. Like,
sure, big audience.
when I'm
A lot of
when I'm riffing, it's fine.
a lot of Peanut the Squirrel fans.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
Short
wouldn't be
squeeze.
surprised
Short
if
squeeze ETH
does
would be
well in
fun.
the short term.
I don't know if that's the case. I am not a chart reading bro. But this guy's got lines, so you can tell he's put some thought into it.
Yeah, and we've got a comment from Alex Kruger, who's a well-respected trader, calling it a fantastic call. So nice.
Save my ETH bags.
Okay, we covered ETH. Yeah. Okay. We covered ETH. We covered what could stop this rally. We ready to wrap things up here, gentlemen?
I'd just like to give one more bullish thing, which is I don't know if you guys saw that Kobe changed his PFP to his classic Bitcoin guy.
Kobe's back.
He's locked in. He's locked in.
Back. He's locked in, and he has been. I have to say, do you guys remember when last cycle? I think it was last cycle when ETH was cratering. Do you remember that? It was going down, and he was live tweeting. He was like, "I'm gonna put up walls. I'll buy all ETH." It was epic. I was watching it happen in real time. He basically formed the bottom of ETH during the March washout, right? The epic washout, COVID washout, and he is one of the best, oldest crypto traders. He doesn't really get into the market, I feel like, nowadays in the past like 4 years, because until he's pretty confident, because I get the impression that he takes his clout seriously. It's one of the reasons why he turned his account private. So to me, this is quite a big sign, because he's, as far as I'm concerned, very careful with his messaging, and this is borne out from his ventures, right? The things that he's invested in and stuff. So I don't know. It's a hugely bullish sign to me.
Yeah. 120 before the end of the year. You're not bullish enough. All right. I'm calling it. That's the pod. Thank you,
Good podcast.
gentlemen, for thank you, everyone, gentlemen, for joining the pod, and thank you for listening. Bitcoin to the moon, Peanut to the moon. See you next week.
See you guys.
R.I.P. Peanut.